Hello, Claudia. It's time for Palm Springs Point of View.
Yep, here we are. And boy, here we are with the autumn leaves. It is blowing outside. Wait, let's change that to the bougainvillea flowers.
They are everywhere, especially if you have a bougainvillea in your backyard. Your pool is probably full at the moment.
Pool gets clean. There's something in it.
There's always something, exactly.
But the season is upon us, right?
That's right. A season is upon us, and that means that there are a lot of things happening here in the desert. We're going to cover at least 3 of them for now, but there are things left and right. So here are our topics for today. We're going to talk about a new show in town called The Dirty Show. We'll hold that for a second. And then you're going to be speaking with our folks over at the Curated Vintage event, right? You had some time with them.
That's a major event for Modernism Fall Preview.
Exactly.
So we'll talk about that.
And we also have some really good footage on the Nancy Worthington art exhibit that went on I believe it's for the L Fund. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, it's the L Fund, which actually put on the event at her art museum, which is basically like her sculpture museum at her home. She has a museum on property. So we're going to go to that. And that was really a great event.
Okay, Claudia, let's talk about the Curated Vintage event. It sounds like a blast. Tell me all about that.
Well, this is something we vintage fashionistas wait for every fall and every spring when Modernism Week opens its doors and Temple Isaiah opens its doors to this amazing collection of very specialty vintage apparel, clothing, high end, and this is very well done. Mitchel Karp puts this on. He owns Mitchel's Palm Springs, and we sat down with him at Temple Isaiah, and we learned more about the temple too. So let's have a look. Well, Modernism Week is upon us. Modernism Week Fall Preview, that is, which gives a taste of the Modernism Week to come in the spring. October 14th through 17th, the city will come alive for the first time in quite a long time since this pandemic. And one event that is not to be missed, especially by us vintage fashionistas, is a curated event, which is coming to Temple Isaiah. And I'm so happy to be here with Mitchel Karp, who runs the Curated event, and he also owns Mitchel's Palm Springs.
Hi, Claudia. It's so nice to be here with you guys. So aside from running the event, I'm the president of Temple Isaiah, and I'm lucky enough to integrate my business with the temple and do fundraisers for the temple, because that's so important to keep the temple going, especially during COVID. People are always they always look for religion, or when times are down, and we really love having these events for the public. So we have tours of the temple. That's going to be on Friday. That would be at, I think it's 9:30 a.m. and that would be I think 1:30. We have the Friday before the Curated Vintage event, and then we have it on Sunday, the same times. And the best thing to do is to check on the Modernism Week website. It's modernismweek.com to find out what tours are available. But if you haven't seen the temple, you really should take a look at it, because we all know that the temple was endowed by Frank Sinatra, and we are sitting in the Bachner, which is the brutalist version of Temple Isaiah. But there's also the Easter Williams part, which is the older, and that's the mid-century. And you're going to get a guided tour of both sections of Temple Isaiah from our wonderful sisterhood, who know the information backwards and forwards. So I don't want to spill too much of the beans, but if you're interested in seeing an amazing architecture of mid-century and brutalist, please come and buy tickets for the event. And on Saturday, in between the 2 tour days, we're going to have the Curated Vintage event. We've done it 6 times so far. This is our 7th event. Luckily, we are indoors. I know the last 3 times we were outdoors and it was really hot. But the nice thing is we have returned to the Warsaw Ballroom, and it's from 9 to 4 on Saturday the 16th. It is the highlight of Modernism Fall Preview, if you ask me, because I've got vendors coming from as far away as Portland, Oregon. I have vendors coming from Arizona. I have an archivalist who has a collection of Moschino that was from the TV show The Nanny.
Did you
And
hear
it's
that?
all pristine. So if you liked Fran Fine dressing up in those outfits, she's going to be bringing that along with some of her other merchandise. I mean, I'm astonished at what we have. You know, we decided that I wanted to make this event for the people that really are vintage fashion lovers. And yes, we're going to have some designer resale too as well. But for the most part, it's going to be extraordinarily hard to find, really iconic vintage stuff that you're just not going to see. You know, it's usually made for the big cities, but we consider Palm Springs like a little big city.
We have plenty of those folks here, let me tell you. And so we're talking Saturday, October 16th. Now, are tickets still available?
Yes, so we have two tickets for the 16th. We've got the first
Two
dibs.
timings?
Yes, the 9 to 10 o'clock is your first dibs. That's your first buy ticket. So you get to see it before the general public. And then at 10 o'clock, from 10 to 4, we have general admission tickets. We have a few tickets left at the first dibs time slot, and then we've got plenty of tickets for the general admission.
It's a beautiful event, a beautiful temple. So come on out and get your tickets for a curated event on October 16th. And also think about taking that tour because it's a beautiful architectural wonder. So the tour will be on the, am I right, the 14th and
As on Friday. That would be the 15th.
Friday is the 15th, and then
Sunday the 17th.
Sunday the 17th.
We have a 9:30 tour and a 1:30 tour on both of those days, and you have to go to modernismweek.com to see which tours are sold out.
Fantastic. Okay, we look forward to this and Modernism Week Fall Preview, a curated event. Mitchell, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Claudia. I look forward to seeing you back in February.
All right.
Okay, Claudia, boy, that vintage curated event, that always is so exciting. It's always easy to find something to buy from there, right? Almost always.
And Mitchell always brings a large draw in. And of course, it's ticketed through Modernism Week.
Right.
But the temple tours are so interesting because of the architectural significance of the buildings. You
Yes.
know, one by E. Stuart Williams and the other was conceived by William F. Cody, and then it went into a brutalist period. So the tour would be definitely a good thing to get tickets for.
It's on the checklist, must do.
Conrad, what the heck is the Dirty Show? Oh, is it something about soap?
Has nothing to do with soap. So this is a one-person show starring Ben Zook, who has some popularity from a web series called Where the Bears Are. This is a one-person show where he comes out and he does readings with the audience. He does his own song and dance where audience members can get involved. He sits down in his chair and just talks about his experiences, both his real life experiences as an entertainer in the Hollywood world, LA world, and this fictionary world that Skylar Gentry lives in. It's a really interesting way that he mixes the two. And one of the many beauties of this is that it's all done in a beautiful stage in the back of a art studio in a parking lot. Under and above you are the planes going by. And so constantly he has to be aware of what's going on. It is a fun show. I would say it's mainly geared towards the male gay community, but there were many females who were in the audience. And just be prepared. It's called The Dirty Show for a reason, but it is a blast. It's going to be going on for every Wednesday here in October, and tickets are available on Eventbrite. Make sure you get them. It is a blast. It's called The Dirty Show.
We only have a few weeks left to go.
A few weeks left. That's right, a few weeks.
All right.
All right.
Tickets.
Okay, Claudia, tell us about the event that was held over at Nancy Worthington's place for the L Fund. What was that all about?
Well, first of all, the L Fund, it provides not only it's an organization for lesbians that provides emergency financial assistance to women in crisis. It also expands into the art world for assistance in the art world. And Nancy Worthington, who is a gifted interactive sculptor, as you know from several of our other shows, we focused on her.
Most definitely.
On this event in conjunction with the L Fund on a beautiful Sunday afternoon at her museum. And that's on her property at her house. It was just lovely because you can flow through the museum, listen to the L Fund. It was a fundraiser for the L Fund, and then wander into her home, which also has a lot of her really cool, fun sculptures. So let's take a look at the video and see what the event was like.
Let's do it.
Beautiful little girl. sitting quietly by life's tree, looking at the world in wide-eyed wonder at the many things to see. So innocent and trusting, full of grace and charm. I long to hold you forever and protect you from all harm. Watching you in deep thought, so lovely to behold.
I have the honor of offering a few brief, and they will be brief, thoughts to you this afternoon on Nancy Worthington's work as it is presented here in the Worthington Fein Private Museum and in public and private collections around the world. Nancy represented the United States in the 18th International Biennale in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And you can also find her work in the permanent collections of, get ready to be impressed, the National Museum of Women in the Arts in Washington, D.C. You might want to hold the applause for these. Just saying. The U.S. State Department's Art and Embassies Program, the San Jose Museum of Art, the Mills College Art Museum, and the very prestigious and utterly fascinating Elizabeth A. Sackler Center for Feminist Art at the Brooklyn Museum in New York City.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Maggie Reibel I'm the chair of the L Fund, and
I'm Dr. Carol Ketchum. I'm the chair of the L Fund's Deborah I. Moore Arts Grant Program, a brand new program for the L Fund.
the L Fund is an organization that empowers lesbians through philanthropy. The organization's about 10 years old, started as a very grassroots organization, has grown into the full Coachella Valley wide and beyond, and we're continuing to grow. We have a program called LEN, which is Lesbians in Need. We have a program that's called LEAP, which is a lesbian educational grant program. And then, as Carol mentioned, we have the arts program where we offer grants to artists. We do life-changing work, helping lesbians through difficult times or to advance their education.
And through our new Arts Grant program, we're very excited to announce that we will be supporting local Coachella Valley artists through grants. We've got several applications in process right now, and this is why we chose this wonderful venue for our first fundraiser after we've all been through so much with COVID. We are at the Worthington Fein Private Museum, enjoying a day of very intriguing art, which you can hear it moo in the background, and companionship and community. And it just feels lovely to be together again in community after these long isolating months.
Yeah, it's been a very difficult couple of years for all of us, and this is bringing community back together, as Carol said, and sharing food and music and wine and art and just fellowship. So we're having a wonderful day here, and we really appreciate Nancy Worthington allowing us to hold this event here today.
As well as the support of the entire Coachella Valley and Palm Springs community. Thank you so much for being so welcoming and supportive of the L Fund.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure to put on this event. I love the L Fund. I love what you guys do, and I wanted to be supportive of that. And this is my first fundraiser for a nonprofit, and I understand that it's your first, as a new board, your first event of the season, so it's very exciting for both of us. It's like a launching, which is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Claudia, the Al Fund event sounds like a worthy cause, and that poem, pretty darn terrific.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing. It just really drew all of us in with the music and just her powerful words. So there was a lot going on that day, and it was really such a great supportive group.
Okay, Claudia, we here at Palm Springs Point of View just covered the gamut, right? We talked about fashion. We talked about an event for our gay brothers. We talked about an event that happened for our lesbian sisters. And now we have an event happening this coming Friday to include everybody. And of course, that is Martini and Moxie.
Martinis and Moxie, our show. Here
That's
it is.
right.
This is how simple. Get your tickets on Eventbrite. I am on Eventbrite right now, and all you do is push right here for tickets. You have two choices, 45 or 65, which is one drink and all the hors d'oeuvres and the party and and a beautiful discussion with Nelda Lentz, gaming, and From Here to Eternity, or for $65, you have open bar all night. It is going to be one big, great party. Think Sinatra at the Sands.
Amen to that. We're going to have a blast. We want to see all of you there. Come join us, everybody. We're going to have a blast. Martinis and Moxie.
Martinis and Moxie. Bye-bye. Bye, Conrad.
See you later.